Congressman, thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it. I know it's a busy Monday.
Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate being here and talking on these issues.
So let me talk to you because we are waiting for President Biden to give this speech on crime today. We expect that we're going to see that taped speech any moment now. You're a former police officer, and I wonder what you make of his strategy. We expect him to take aim at former President Trump and also tout his own record on policing. He passed that executive order back in May. Has the president done enough on the issue of policing?
Well, you know, I think it's moving in the right direction. I helped the administration develop some of those issues and working with police organizations across the country. I think the underlying issue here is, under the American Rescue Plan, there was enough flexibility put in there that today we have $10 billion that has gone through that program out to police departments across the nation. The president just has announced, or will be announcing, $32 billion over 5 years to go to retention of our officers, hiring of new officers, helping officers with their health care, mental health care, and helping the rest of society also develop processes to improve the quality of life for citizens in areas of poverty and help with the crime issue.
And yet, Congressman, as you know, executive orders only go so far. Are you disappointed by the fact that the president and the Congress writ large have not been able to get legislation passed as it relates to policing? And is it one of the issues that's hurting you as you head into your reelection battle? And I know you're facing an uphill battle.
Well, I know the messaging so far from the Republican side has been one of not funding police, and that just the opposite has really occurred over the last 2 years. The other message has been one of not getting things done for the police. And we have a number of bills before Congress right now. They're moving through the process as we speak, and they will go to addressing that ability to retain our officers, to pay them well, to make sure that they have the appropriate health care and benefits, and training. Yeah. And we don't want anything to stop the training process so that officers know exactly what how to work on de-escalation and other issues out there. And it has to be continual training. It just can't be training when they first come on the job and then moderate levels of training. Yeah. And we need to be partners with our police departments in order to fund these issues. We have to continue.
Congressman, let me ask you about the issue that is looming over your bid for re-election and that, frankly, is looming over all Democrats and this president. That is the economy. And real questions about whether the economy is headed toward a recession. A number of economists believe that that's inevitable at this point. Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, said over the weekend to Chuck that no matter what happens this week, no matter what the key economic indicators are, she doesn't think that we're in a recession. She's making the argument that, look, most economists take in a number of factors, including the labor market, which the White House argues is quite strong. So let me put the question to you. Do you agree with Janet Yellen? Do you think that a recession or do you think a recession is inevitable at this point?
Well, I think that the job market is strong. I agree with her on that. I think that the families of America are struggling.
But do you think that we're headed toward a recession, Congressman? Just the reality check there. Do you think we're headed toward a recession?
I think that there's tough economic times potentially ahead, but we're at that balancing point. Mm-hmm. Are we going there or are we not? And there's not enough information, I believe, in this strong job market that we're seeing. And there are other factors across this country and across the world that are having profound impacts, not least is the Ukraine war, the supply chain issues out of China. They're lowering economy also. The European community struggling with the energy issues, and as we are. Wars create these environments, and the Chinese have such a profound impact on American imports, and which means the supply chain for a multitude of issues, but it also means inflation if they can't get those products to us in a reasonable time.
Congressman, I want to ask you about the proxy war that is playing out in your state in Arizona. We have seen this. Former President Trump former Vice President Mike Pence on opposite ends of this battle for governor. What do you think it would mean for your state? Obviously, the candidate who Trump has endorsed, Kari Lake, is someone who has backed the president's false claims that the 2020 election was stolen. What would it mean if an election denier were to win the governorship in your state?
Well, obviously, when you have election deniers, that's going to, and they're in elected office all of a sudden, that will have an impact if they're going to try to continue down a path that, whether it's the Supreme Court of the United States, other federal courts, our state's Supreme Court, and across the land, over 60 courts in this land have said this was a free and fair election. And in the state of Arizona, every elected official, whether it's our governor or county chairs or county supervisors, you name them, they all backed up the election in Arizona. And and state after state after state.
Yeah.
So I don't know who wants to continue to push forward this idea and concept, but they have not found the proof to prove their point.
Congressman, very quickly, I know you're running in an uphill battle. What would need to happen in Washington in order for you to win in Arizona, in order for you to win this race? Is it possible?
Oh, definitely possible. I've won Republican +3 district 3 times in a row. This is a Republican +6 or 7. I have polling that identifies clearly that I have a path to victory. I'm one of the most moderate members of Congress, and I work with people, not against people. And so I will continue down that path to find the ability of us to deal with the priorities of America for the American people and families.
All right. Congressman O'Halloran, thank you so much for joining us on this busy Monday. I know you're doing a lot of campaigning, so appreciate it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.